All right, so what's up, lovely people? So, welcome to this channel called Some Movie Time Machine, and I have an outline right now. So that I'm trying something a little bit different, something that I've never tried before. I've never created any outline for none of my videos, but for like this kind of videos that I'm doing right now, this kind of video that I'm doing right now. So I want kind of like an outline for it because I don't want to get lost and actually over talk. I don't even know if it's a thing, but I just want to like go straight to the point and say exactly what I meant and just move on. So I have an outline with me, so we're just gonna go based on my outline, which is technically like 1 page and a half, two close to 2 pages. So I'll say hi, welcome to Sam's Movies Time Machine. So right now you're watching a random guy reviewing film on the internet, and the film that we're gonna be reviewing today is this beauty. Avatar. This movie came out in 2009 by the same guy that made Titanic and these other movies called Terminator 2. So talking about James Cameron. And apparently when the movie came out, it was one of the highest grossing movies ever. And it was 3D filmmaking with CGI mix, which is totally crazy to me because I thought that it was 3D. But I didn't want to believe that it was 3D back then because I was like, can't really be, 3D like that because it was. It's kind of weird to explain. I knew 3D was a thing, but I didn't think or didn't know that 3D was that advanced. But to be honest with you, I don't really know what they used 3D on, and the only thing that I can guess right now at the moment, I'll say they probably used 3D for the environment and I'll say the sets instead of like the real person characters. So I'm pretty sure they use like CGI for the characters and then they use 3D like for some I'll say animations and for some animation in the set and probably the environment and stuff like that. I need to take a look at it so that I know exactly what they use each and every single thing on. And yeah, like I said, it was released in 2009. It was 1 year before Haiti earthquake, and I was still back in Haiti back then. So the review. So we have this guy called Jack Sully. That's how like the film literally start. So he lost his brother, and then the brother generally had a mission to work with those people that actually created this avatar. And the craziest thing about this whole thing is I initially thought that the avatar people were literally like human being, not man-made. But yeah, that was crazy. So it was like a man-made project, crazy as I'm sorry, but it was a crazy ass project where it will literally make. Well, there was a living species called, they were not called Avatar, but kind of look like them. And some way, somehow, they found those species DNA and they mix it with human DNA. And that's the way that they ended up with Avatar. But my biggest question is like, how do you even do that? So, how do you even develop the whole body? Well, developing the whole body is not really a problem because if I'm taking it as like a science with a science background, let's say that you have stem cells and then somehow some way this thing works. They have like those people in genetic materials and then they mix it with human genetic materials, and that's how they ended up with like an egg. And then the egg just follow every single process that it has to follow, which is pretty crazy because right now I really cannot comprehend. And then boom, you have one. So like, how do you have the body, right? So the body probably has a mind. And so what do you do? So when do you actually go in, you erase the mind that the body has so that you can put yours on? Because like the old thing is like, you have the body and they have like a machine that you have to put yourself in. And it's kind of like you're projecting your mind into the body, and then you can move the body around, and then you can also perceive life, maybe like live through the body, which is totally crazy, like effed up. And I did not watch the movie, but I've seen some snippet of it, but I've never really understood it. Back then, it was not something that I was interested into. I was mostly interested into cartoons and stuff, and that's like say one of the reasons why I did not really fully watch the movie. I actually tried to look for it. It would have been pretty hard to actually find as well because I was still living in Haiti. Netflix was not a thing back then, and I was still a child. So if my dad didn't brought me the CD, I wouldn't really watch it, or just randomly I'll see on some channel on the TV, and that's probably gonna be like one of the way that I could have possibly watch it. But it would have never be like me going out of my way to actually see it. But honestly, Talking about the graphic was marvelous. Mostly the color palette that they used. I think those people they actually knew what they were doing. Everything was beautiful. I'm telling you, so like magical, very really cool. And thinking about like, hey, this thing actually happened more than 10 years ago. It's crazy to me because there's like so many things that those people did in the movie that you know I think you can kind of like see on today's movies as well, but it's gonna be like totally different. Like the way that I felt while watching the movies, that I was like following a story, which is I'll say ironic to say when it comes to watching movies and stuff because pretty much all movies has a story. But this thing was not really predictable when it comes to movies that you might possibly want to watch nowadays. And I don't want to take any movies as example because that's not the point of the video. So I'm not trying to tell that this movie is so much more better than the other one. But the point that I'm trying to say is, like this movie, talking about this Avatar movie. So if you're watching it, right? So there's gonna be like this. There's like Jack Sully, so you don't know this guy. This guy, you're kind of like, oh, I feel bad for him, because he just lost his brother and stuff. And then right now, we're pretty interested into, hey, is he gonna get his leg back or is he not gonna get his leg back? And then right now, boom, the project, and then boom, he fell in love. Like you couldn't really predict that, like the way that the whole thing turned out. Even there's like some prediction that I tried to do throughout the movie, but it all turned out pretty bad. And I'm pretty sure it was not a me thing, a me problem, but it was kind of like a general thing. Like, you cannot really predict the plot because everything just blended so perfectly. And that's like the beauty of the whole movie, or that's what makes the beauty of the whole movie, like the way that everything just matched together. And that was pretty nice to see. And I really like the fact that, those avatar people living at Pandora, they were really high, tall human being. It was a pretty good difference to actually see on the screen, like each time they were interacting with each other, like close to, I'll say when they're at proximity of each other. So also like the avatar people and the human people was kind of like, by the heap. And it was really nice. I was like, oh my god, they're gigantic. And they were kind of like beautiful too. They look like they had beautiful features, which is something that I'm pretty interested into watching. And they have like 2 more movies coming up that I'm heavily interested into watching right now. And I'm pretty afraid about what they're actually gonna do when it comes to those movies. Are they gonna say like, hey, Jack Sully's probably gonna become an avatar? Because I think at the end of the movie, I saw them like making a ritual for him, and that's boom. I guess how he's gonna become an avatar. So it's probably gonna become an avatar, and I probably have children, and then I don't know, maybe the government is gonna go and look for them, which I wouldn't be really surprised because it was probably a government project or a project that was founded by the government and then ran out. They're probably gonna be like, hey, I want my money back, hey, or hey, I'm gonna give you more people to actually, get what it is I want from those people and destroy everybody. So I think the second movie, or maybe the third movie, will be much more predictable than the first one, because the first one we generally did not know anybody, so they were just like establishing the plot and everything. So it's kind of like you getting to know the story. But I think with the second one, maybe it will be much more predictable, and then the third one, hell yeah, heavily predictable, or maybe not. I hope it's not, to be honest. Music and sound design, the best. But it was not like so good that I tried to found the playlist on Spotify, because it was not that kind of film, to be honest, or that kind of movie. But I'll say everything else was pretty good, to be honest. And if I'm rating this thing on a scale of 1 to 5, I would generally give it a strong 4.7, because it was just that good of a movie, and it was really long too. So it's not like one of those movies that you were watching and then within like 45 minutes the whole thing is done. Like, it was not like that. So I was pretty much watching this thing like for 2 hours and close to 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And I generally enjoy every single minute of it. So I felt like every single minute was necessary to actually explain what the whole movie was, or explain the whole story. And it never felt like they were trying to rush, or they were trying like to cut a specific part of the movie so that they can, I don't know, make it shorter because I'll say for some budget issue or for some other issues. So it just like flow naturally. I'm telling you. And I think I say naturally way too much now, but it was just like the way that I felt when I was watching the whole movie. So I'll generally give it a 4.7 out of 5. So tell me, did you already watch Avatar? So which one did you watch? And I also watched the cartoons as well. I watched some episode of the cartoons by I think it was like 2012 or maybe 2013, and it was totally different than the movie. But hey, yeah, that's probably gonna be a subject for another video. But that was pretty much me watching this thing, and generally like it, and I'll probably gonna watch it again. But I'm gonna give it some time because I'm not one of those people who can watch like the same thing over and over again, like back to back. So I need to give it some time so that I can, break some synapse or do some synaptic pruning pre-med, so that I enjoy it again instead of watching it and actually know exactly what's gonna happen. Even if I'm kind of gonna know what's gonna happen, but I just gonna give my brain some time to digest it, and I didn't see it yet. So that's what I'm gonna do. So thank you for watching this video. It was pretty good to watch actually, and I'm gonna keep my baby in my collection for sure. So bye.